As more and more people are seeing the power of FPV and are really intrigued by the type of footage that you can get with an FPV drone, I started getting the question, what's a good beginner FPV drone, pretty much on a daily basis? And it's ridiculously hard to answer this question, as there are so many different directions you can go in, so many different aspects that you need to consider. So in today's video, I'll try to talk about these aspects and give you more information about the things you need to know if you want to start with FPV in 2020. And hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be a bit more informed, you will know which way to go, and you'll have a better, clearer idea of what to do. The first thing I want to talk about is, of course, your budget. When it comes to budget, FPV is very different to regular drones, because with a regular drone, you buy, let's say, a Mavic 2 Pro, you buy the drone, you get your propellers, you get a battery, you get your charger, you get your remote, so everything is inside the package and you're all set by buying just one thing. With FPV, that's not the case. So besides the drone itself, which we'll get to in a second, you will also need tons of extra propellers. And that's extremely important because when you're just starting out, you'll probably crash a lot. So you'll need to exchange your props quite a few times. You'll also need a remote controller, FPV goggles, batteries, chargers, tools, so you can build your drone or you can repair it after you crash it. And of course, if you want to film with better quality camera, you'll also need a GoPro or Insta360 One R or Osmo Action or something else that is better quality than the FPV camera that you'll be using. So these things stack up very quickly, and of course the price increases very significantly, so you'll need to take that into consideration. The next thing you need to think about is which way you want to go, analog or digital. Analog is the more established system and has been used for the past 5 or 10 years even, and there are tons of different manufacturers, there are tons of different components with varying prices. And digital has been introduced recently by DJI. And if you're not aware what exactly I'm talking about, take this as an example. Analog is kind of like Android, and digital with DJI is kind of like iOS. So there are lots of different manufacturers working on analog. You can buy different parts and put them together. And if you want to use digital, you can only use DJI for now. It's quite a closed system. It has been around for under a year. And for now, there are no other manufacturers that have been on the market with a digital product. And as such, you don't have such a large choice of different manufacturers. As a matter of fact, you almost don't have any choice. So of course the prices are a bit higher. In return, you're getting a lot higher quality, so you can definitely see the difference between analog and digital when you put them side by side, and you have a little bit of digital latency sometimes. That's the caveat when it comes to digital transmission system with the DJI FPV. But still, if you're planning to fly freestyle or you want to capture cinematic shots with your FPV drone, the latency is pretty much negligible. You cannot even see it in your footage in your flying, so the general flying experience is great. The only problem is if you're planning to race with your FPV drone, then you might have a little bit of latency compared to the analog flyers out there, so you might be a bit behind. So that's something that is not a problem for me, as I'm not a racer, but I just wanted to mention it, throw it out there for anyone who is planning to get into racing. And speaking about racing, freestyle, cinematic, there is also this aspect of thinking what you need your FPV drone for, because there are different builds depending on your needs. There are different configurations, different parts that of course work best for a specific area. Most people that are looking to get into FPV are really intrigued by the cinematic flying that we are seeing from Johnny FPV, Andrew FPV, or so many other pilots that are putting out amazing content on YouTube, Instagram, and so on. So most people are looking for the same type of flying experience. So I would say 95% would be interested in cinematic flying with a little bit of freestyle thrown into the mix. But you still need to configure your options, because when it comes to flying FPV drones, you can fly a freestyle drone, make lots of different maneuvers and tricks in the air. You can fly a racing drone and race with other people. You can fly a Cinewhoop, which is made in order to go through very tight spaces and record very nice, smooth cinematic footage. Or you can get a cinematic long-range drone, which is made with the idea of being pushed very far away from you. You can get to places where pretty much no person can go to, and you can capture some amazingly beautiful footage. Now that hopefully you have a better idea what you want to do with your FPV drone, it's time to decide whether you want to build this drone yourself or if you want to buy a pre-built one. So for my first ever FPV drone, I decided to go with the pre-built one. I bought the iFlight DC5 HD, which comes with all the DJI components inside, and the only thing you need to do is to bind your FPV remote controller and your goggles to the drone and you're ready to go. You can fly straight away. In general, I was quite happy with the build quality. The soldering joints were great. The build quality in general was good. The only problem I had was the durability of the frame. In a very minor crash, one of the arms just snapped, and after researching, I saw that many people are complaining about the same issue. It seems that the DC5 frame is just not very durable, so I just replaced the whole frame by myself, and I bought the Impulse RC Apex HD frame, and now I am left with this. However, as I'm pretty deep into FPV already, I didn't want to have just one pre-built configuration. I wanted to get my hands dirty and I wanted to build one myself, so I built this one as well. This is a lot lighter and a lot more powerful drone, which is perfect for racing. However, I use it for freestyle again, but if I want to, I can also use it for racing. And the difference between buying a pre-built configuration and building your own drone is quite significant, but it takes time to learn everything there is to know about building a drone. However, there are lots and lots of tutorials, build videos on YouTube. So if you're feeling comfortable investing your time into that, I'm sure you'll be able to do that, as it's not impossible. Anyone can do it as long as you put some time into it and you learn how to do it. It's very much possible. And of course, you're free to do your own research, but in order to save you some time and some trouble, I will link a couple of pre-built configurations in the description below. I will try to give you a couple of suggestions, something that I found to be good in terms of quality and in terms of price. And I'll try to arrange them from cheaper to more expensive. So depending on your budget, you'll be able to find something that is suitable for you. And the final thing which I want to address in today's video is how important it is to find a community. Whether it's a local community and people who you can actually meet and fly with, or an online community where you can ask all of your questions and get some help, FPV communities are just incredibly useful to have, because in this hobby you will have a lot of questions. You will have things that don't go right. You will have questions about what should I do next? What should I do now? Things are not working. Can you help me? And by using these communities, you will have somebody to talk to, somebody to help you with these problems. And I will link a couple of my favorite online communities. They are mostly Facebook groups in the description once again. And these communities are definitely the first place where I will go to if I have an issue, because I know there is someone who knows the answer to my question. And as there are so many people inside these groups or online communities, you will find something useful, something new pretty much every single day. If you're into that, it's a great place to hang out. So with that being said, I hope this video was informative and useful for some of you guys who are ready to start with FPV. It's not an easy hobby, it's not a cheap hobby, but it's amazing, and I highly encourage you to dive deep into it. If you have the chance to do so, please do, because you will not regret it. If you have any questions regarding FPV, regarding this video or anything else, please write them down. I'll try to help you out as much as I can, because I know how hard it is to start with this hobby. With that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to like it, subscribe for more videos like this one. This is Mike from Drone Supremacy. I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.